with a huge selection of company and even a wider selection of games, Poland is actually creating some absolutely unbelievable gaming experiences. So we are going to take a look and see exactly what's coming out of this country. Welcome to a Polish Publishing League special edition of GMS Magazine at Spiel 2015. This is my face of excitement because I have in front of me one of the coolest games I've seen in 2015 so far, Heroes, and I am with Piotr, who, if you are a listener of the podcast, you should know by now, and if you aren't a listener of the podcast, please do become one, because we get people as good as Piotr talking to us. Now, Heroes, a real-time dice-throwing strategy card game for battling people who really have to kill each other. I mean, that's a winning formula.
Yeah, it's true, because it's basically a dueling wizards game. It may be a little bit cliche for many games, because the most important ones like Magic, I believe everyone knows them. But Heroes is something completely different, because it's a real-time game, as you said, and it combines cards, dice and board in one box. And the main idea behind it was to somehow adapt real-time strategy games, computer strategy games, into a board game, simply.
Okay, now we have spoken about it in the podcast. I have done the review for the podcast as well, but people haven't had a chance to actually see how this game plays. So guide us through it. What are the mechanics of the game? How does it play?
First of all, we start with some creatures on our player boards, and one of the cards that are placed on the player boards is obviously our hero, and the aim of the game is to kill the opponent hero. We do it mainly by casting spells, as you can see here. I hope you can see it. We have a deck of cards that are drafted at the beginning of the game. And what's the most important thing here? Each spell card has a set of symbols that enable us to cast a particular spell. We do it by rolling our dice, 6 of them, with symbols, and each player has to roll a set of symbols. What is funny, we do it at the same time, as fast as we can, and we just keep the results we like. We re-roll the others. And when, for example, I will say stop, I have 3 green symbols, so they are related to the earth element. And for example, I would be able to play Stone Skin, because it needs 3 symbols to be activated. After we cast a spell from hand, and this is an important thing, only after we do it, we can use remaining helmet symbols to activate our creatures on the board. They can either make a physical attack or use their special ability. This is how we attack our opponent. And after we perform an action, we check if the opponent can do something. If not, we take all our dice back to hand and start rolling again, and the opponent can keep the results he or she likes and just re-roll the others.
Also, there is an element of strategy in what creature you should or shouldn't activate, because they can attack in different directions.
Yeah. There are several attack directions, and the other thing is that we have two rows on the board, and only exposed creatures can attack. So only if you are in the front row, or if you are at the back, but you have an empty space in front of you.
And that means that some creatures are in the back line, and some spells will affect the creatures that are in the back line, not in the front line.
Yeah. Each spell card has a target, so we can play either on a creature or on a player. And of course, then we apply the effect, then we activate the creatures if we can. But we also have some other actions to take, such as learning new spells, because new spells are always available on the table. They are open to anyone, and we can just take them to our hand. Or we can draw cards from our deck. So this is also kind of a deck building game, but this element is not the crucial one, but it's still there.
It's a very interesting one because you can concentrate on creating a deck of particular type of spells, which although it is difficult, but if you need some sort of strategic edge, it can work very well.
Yeah, and here in Essen we're demonstrating the basic version of the game, but what is really cool is the advanced rules. I don't know if you had the chance to play the advanced rules, because they relate the hero much more closely to the element. So for example, if you are the water hero and you play water spells, they are automatically enhanced. But if you play a fire spell, which is an opposing element, you get a penalty, you get wounds.
Now, who wins and how?
The last hero alive. The last hero alive wins. There are actually several options, because one thing is that you obviously can target the hero, but there are many players who prefer to clean the board from the creatures and only then start attacking the hero. It can take a little bit longer than suggested time, so either you can play until the last hit point is taken off the board, or when both players get rid of all the creatures, you can just compare the final hit points and the player who has more wins.
Piotr, the replayability of the game as it stands is very, very good. You don't get tired of the game soon at all. What is the future of the game? Are there expansions on the making? Because there is plenty of opportunity for that.
Here in Essen we have 4 promo cards, which is like a mini expansion. 1 additional creature for each element, and they're really powerful ones. But definitely we are thinking about some expansions, but right now we're focusing on getting more publicity for the game. So far it's been released in Polish and English by Lion Games and Rebel PL, but also the German edition is right now in the making by Heidelberger, and we hope there will be more.
And so do I, because seriously, viewers, I kid you not, I very rarely am as enthusiastic about a game as I am about this one, and I am very, very enthusiastic. Please, 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 if you get the chance, take a look at it, play a game, and I can promise you that you will not regret it, because even though some people hate the dice rolling mechanic, I do, I don't like it at all, but it somehow works in this game so well. It's just fantastic. So many congratulations on an absolutely fantastic game, and I hope that it will wipe the floor at the Spiel and you sell out.
Yeah, we hope so.